TIFU by texting my pregnant wife that this isn't working. My wife posted earlier today on LA about this. Not using my main, because my Phil knows it, and I'm not quite ready to tell him about this. I went to work today and turned my phone off as usual. I had almost 30 missed texts and calls from my pregnant wife when I turned it on. Most of them were asking how I could do this. I had no clue what she was talking about. She didn't answer any of my calls back. I got home and she was packing up to leave. I'll admit it, I cried. A lot. Had no clue what was happening or what I did. Finally, it comes out that I texted her that I wanted a divorce. She showed me the text, and I immediately realized what happened. This morning, a freestanding mirror for our bedroom was delivered. I texted her the new mirror came in. I'm going to try to put it together, but I may need your help later. I had trouble putting it together and eventually gave up. I texted her, this isn't working, and at this point I think I need to just give up. Apparently, the first text didn't go through, just the second one. So my pregnant wife panicked for a few hours, while I was off thinking everything was great. She even called a divorce lawyer. Things are fine now, but she's still crying off and on. She told me we can laugh about it tomorrow. TL, doctor accidentally told my wife that things weren't working, she almost left me. Edit, wow, this blew up. To address a few things that came up in the comments. I usually work from home, unless I need to meet with clients. I don't always tell my wife when my client meetings are, because she's usually at work anyway. That's why she didn't know I was at work yesterday. I'm not allowed to have my phone on at work until my wife is 30 weeks. If my phone goes off, I could lose my job and our health insurance. My wife has an anxiety disorder and had to stop taking her meds because of the pregnancy. That's why she had the reaction she did. My comment about my wife being forgiving was a joke. Neither of us is mad at the other. This was just a series of misunderstandings that snowballed. We are fine. I posted this so people could laugh at our misfortune. No need to psychoanalyze my wife or PM me about divorce. We are fine. And no, we haven't put the mirror together yet. We weren't really in a home improvement mood last night. This is sitcom levels of misunderstanding. Congratulations, lol. Every single episode of Three's Company. The character Larry makes me really uncomfortable. Even as a child, and I was watching the show with my mom 15 years ago. Yeah, there was something about Larry that was deeply unsettling. As a kid, he epitomized exactly the kind of adult male I'd hope no one would ever leave me alone with. Pregnancy hormones are a bitch. I once cried because apple juice was 30 cents more expensive than I had budgeted. Wife and I were in the grocery store. She was drinking some coffee. She handed the cup to me to finish off the last little bit. I take the coffee, you sure? Yay, I'm done with it, okay, proceed to finish the coffee. Wife starts crying that I finished the coffee. It's preparing you for having a toddler. Source, my toddler cried today because he didn't have any Cheerios on his plate, then cried because I put Cheerios on his plate. He just wanted one. When my wife was pregnant, I brought home KFC for dinner one night. She pulls out mashed potatoes and gravy from the bag, starts bawling and saying, "You know I hate gravy. Why would you ruin my dinner?" I reach in the bag and pull out her mashed potatoes with no gravy. Even though I had her food right, that train had already left the station and there was no turning back. She goes to the bedroom and lays in the bed to cry. She did not eat dinner. Pregnancy hormones are no joke. I think my uterus just ran away. Yeah, but did you finish the mirror? Asking the real questions. What part about this isn't working, and at this point I think I need to just give up, don't you get? You know, forget it, let's divorce. Who takes the mirror? Her. He already can't hang it. Hang it? He can't even make it. Kinda scary how few people told her to verify the situation first. Can't help but feel there's a lot of divorce lawyers on r/legalavis. And then you have the r/relationship crowd who would go the fact that she jumped to the conclusion that you wanted a divorce from a single text message is probably her projecting. You should leave her immediately. I asked advice there once after I had started dating a new person and was confused about how she was acting towards me. Their advice was that there was no chance of it working and I should give up immediately. We've been happily married for 3 years now. You're not actually happy. Sunk cost fallacy. Divorce yourself and focus on you. Lawyer up, hit the gym, get off of social media. Invest in FANG stocks. Have fangs implanted. You're a shark. You're a young sexy shark. That bites. My girlfriend, who I'm living with, sent me a text saying, "When you get home, I have to talk to you." All she wanted to say was the hot water wasn't working. I tell you what, I was stressing so hard at work till I got the time to call her. Edit, damn my inbox boys and girls, 30+ notifications. Some context and details. We have been dating for 3 years at that point, and living together for at least 2, so it wouldn't have been the "we need a break" chat. She is just bad at text messages. But there is an underlying feeling, when you have had 6 breakups with other girls in the past, where she has left you, that will put you into panic mode when something like that is said. It was an easy fix as well. The breaker was tripped, so she just needed to turn it back on. Reply with "we surely do" to set her back on my edge to for maximal performance. I once told my husband that he obviously wasn't ready to be a father and I didn't know if I wanted to be with someone who didn't care at my needs. He had brought home boneless KFC rather than regular KFC when I was 4 months pregnant. Don't worry. It's temporary. I was 5 emos preg and my husband came home to me bawling on the kitchen floor with a knife in hand. I couldn't find a can opener and attempts at opening my spaghettios had failed. For some reason I just find this adorable. Maybe it's the spaghettios. It's certainly not the knife. I'm just going to say, as someone who had a baby not that long ago, it would be a good idea to keep your phone on while you're at work, especially when it's getting close to go time. Not only would it have saved you and your wife a lot of grief today, but if something comes up and she needs to get in touch with you urgently, it's important for you to be reachable. Work won't let me have my phone on until she's at 30 weeks, but when she gets there, I'll keep it on. Give your wife a direct dial work number for emergencies. Duh. Best idea yet. Back when my wife and I were first dating, I was able to jump onto Google Voices beta testing. I was real excited about the voicemail transcription. She went to a routine doctor app and called when she was done. I'll let it go to VM. The transcription came in quickly. "I'm dying. Call me." I freaked out and called her immediately. Within those few seconds, dozens of thoughts about what it could be and how we were going to handle it raced through my head. She answered the phone and acted like nothing was wrong. I kept pressing her to tell me what happened. The message she left was, "I'm done. Call me." Wow. That would totally ruin my day and freak me out. There's a things that aren't your fault aren't a fuck up rule, but frankly this is too good to report. Edit, alright, which one of you motherfuckers did it? That rule needs augmentation. Most of the best stories on here technically break that rule. The one I can think of most recently is the one where the guy went home with the crazy chick, and it wasn't her house. I really wanted to see that play out. Or the time I threw a full-blown temper tantrum, the kind where you spin on the ground screaming and snot bubbles kind of thing. Why? Because my mother won't let me put keys in the electrical socket. Well, you're a grown-up now. Knock yourself out. Don't be shocked with what happens. What happens next will shock you! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. 1. I remember crying because my leftovers wouldn't fit into a single container and I had to use a second Tupperware. That's hilarious in hindsight. I understand that, though. Tupperware and everything to do with it is just frustrating, from the weird white marks they get over time, to them getting easily stained by red sauce, to them magically not drying off in the dishwasher when everything else is fine. I'd have cried too. While pregnant, I yelled at my husband for cooking basmati rice, then forbid basmati rice in our home indefinitely. I fucking love basmati rice. But for some reason the smell triggered anger and nausea and intolerance. A week after birth everything was fine again. Ham was my thing. I love ham, but the smell of it even buried in the middle of a Publix ultimate sub. I hurled like a sorority sister after a 3-day bender. Holy fuck, props to the top to posters for telling her not to panic. I understand the others were just working with the information they were given, but the fact that several of them immediately went to lawyer up, rather than this might be a misunderstanding, just shows how awful Reddit can be for life advice, even on heavily moderate subs. It's r/legalavis, not r/relationship_advice. They are not there to tell you whether or not your relationship is fucked, just what legal options you might have if you want to end it. If you're looking for life advice from r/legalavis, you've already made a huge mistake. Great point. I should rephrase my comment to say I applaud those who were able to look past their profession and give ops wife solid common sense advice. I think a great mark of professionals is understanding when their services are/are not needed.